With graduation season underway, the latest numbers are revealing fewer than half of rural Colorado high school graduates go on to college. That's about 5 percentage points below the state average. Jason Gonzales with Chalkbeat Colorado is joining us live now. I know you've done some extensive reporting on the issue of college enrollment and who's going to college and who's not, Jason, so thanks so much for joining us again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We want to talk about these rural students. What are some of the specific barriers that are preventing them from going to college even after they've graduated high school?
Yeah, so I want to say that this is an incredibly complex issue. Every rural community across the state really has its own fill and makeup. I mean, you can look at something on the Eastern Plains and it might not translate over to the Western Slope. So it is very complex. But the things that I have found is there's perception issues, whether or not college is even relevant to staying in that community. The distance that students are from a college, most students go to college about 50 miles away from their home. And so if there's not an option or it's not the option that they want, they might not go. Cost, of course. I think that's something that touches every student across the state. And then community perception of that if students go to college, they may never come back.
Interesting. We'll get into a couple of those more in depth, but tell us about the town of Fowler. This is a fairly small community east of Pueblo, and they've really bucked this trend.
Yeah, Fowler is a community, like I said, just east of Pueblo. They're a really small town, about 1,100 students, or 1,100 people, 100 students.
Wow.
But they have really, over the last decade or so, done a really great job sending students to college. And they say that part of that is because it's ingrained in the community. That's how it's always sort of been. There's expectations there that students should go to college and that it will create opportunity for them, whether it's in the community, to create their own opportunity, really, or to go elsewhere and find jobs. And one of the other things that I really found there is that they have this husband-wife duo that are doing a really great job of counseling students to get to college. And that's all combined to have numbers that are, 30 percentage points, sometimes more above the state and college go. Yeah.
Amazing. And those mentors, as you point out, so important to see people doing it and telling you how exactly you can do it. Is there anything colleges can do to change this, perhaps designing different degree programs that are more aimed at these students or bringing the programs to them if they want to stay closer to home?
So Colorado Mountain College is a great example of this. They're constantly reevaluating whether or not they are going to keep a program, because is it relevant to the community? Is it relevant to what the economy needs? And they've done a really great job of tailoring those programs for the economic need and the student need in the area. And they're really held up as an example of what can be accomplished if you are constantly reevaluating those things. And they have been able to bring in quite a few students from the local area and get them jobs. As far as bringing it to some of the Eastern Plains areas, there are schools that are trying to do more satellite campuses. Colorado State University Fort Collins actually opened one near Fowler, and that's really new. So we don't really know how that's going to look yet. And the community college system is working to create a consortium of online degree programs that can be offered at any community college across the state. So you could be taking, for instance, an aviation program from the Western Slope in Fowler if you want.
Yeah. Jason, thank you for giving us a little bit of an example of how we can make this work better for rural Coloradans, and we appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.